In this video, we're going to be treating the conditional statement. So in the previous videos, we looked at some expressions or some statements that evaluate to true or false. So these statements are normally used with if statements to be able to perform an action. So if you do a check, if you run a check and it evaluates to true or false, normally you want to perform an action. Let's say, for instance, you compared some values. You say number 1 is let's say equal to 30. That is normally used within an if statement. There are other conditions or other situations where you use it as well, but one of the places we can apply such statements are the if statement. So we can apply that in an if statement. So I have this playground here. So instead of using our console, we are going to be writing a bit more code. So I felt we should use this. So we are still going to make use of our environment here. So this is used when you want to type code and you want to save it. So you want to save it in a file to use subsequently. So we are still going to make use of this, but for now we are just introducing some concepts and we just need a quick environment we can test our code. So we are going to be making use of this playground by LeetCode. Okay, so let's delete that. Okay, first let's test run this to make sure that it's working. So if we run that, you can see hello world printed on the screen. That's good. So our if statement. So conditional statements allow you to execute certain code blocks based on certain conditions. There are 3 types of conditional statements in JavaScript. We have if statement, we have if else statement, and we have switch statement. So we are going to this if and if else statement, we are still going to be breaking them down. So we have if else statement, we have if else if statement, we have if else if else. So if else if, then else statement. We also have nested if statement. So we are going to be looking at all of those. So first we have the if statement. So if statement, the if statement executes a block of code if the specified condition is true. So this is used with expressions that evaluates to true or false. So if you have an expression which is in this case known as a condition. So a condition is an expression that evaluates to true or false. Okay, so if you have a condition that evaluates to true, then this block is going to run. Whatever you have within this block, it can be one line of code or multiple lines of code that will run. So in this case, we have this example. Say let x is equal to 10, and we say if x is greater than 5, then console.log of x is greater than 5. So let's run this code and see what happens. So we say let x equal to 10, and then we say if x is greater than 5, then console.log x is greater than 5, right? So let's run this and see it says x is greater than 5. If I change x to be 4, that means x is no more greater than 5. We see that this runs but nothing happens. Okay, so whatever you have in this block is only going to run if your if statement evaluates to true. So that's what an if statement is. So an if statement, when you have an if statement like this, this will only evaluate to, this will only run whatever you have in this block will only run if the if statement evaluates to true. So if this evaluates to true, the condition here, not the if statement. So if the condition here evaluates to true, then this is going to run. Then we have the if else statement. Now sometimes you don't just want to there are scenarios where you just want this, right? So you want to have just this if statement, you don't want the else. But there are scenarios where you don't want to have a blank screen like we have here. You want to always print something on the screen. So if x is greater than 5, there's a message you want to print on the screen, and if x is less than 5, then you want to print another message on the screen. So that's what the else statement does. So if else statement executes a block of code if the specified condition is true, and another block of code if it is false. So in this case, if this condition evaluates to true, then it's going to execute this block of code. Now this block of code can be multiple lines, so you can have another line of code here. So all these are going to be evaluated or executed if this condition is true. Okay, so else, that is if this evaluates to false. So if this evaluates to true, this is going to run, and if it evaluates to false, then console.log let's say x is not greater than 5. Great. So it says x is not greater than 5. If I change this to 10, it says x is greater than 5. And if I change this to 1, it says x is not greater than 5. Okay, so you can use this if statement to achieve amazing stuff. So you check for conditions and you perform operations based on that condition. Let's do another check. So let's say we have we have a variable called gender, which is either going to be male or female. So this is either going to be male or female. So we say we want to run a check. Now I want to display a message. Let's say we have a program that asks people to provide their gender. So if we provide a message after they give us an answer, we want to write a message based on their gender. So we want a message that will be displayed to males and want a message that will be displayed to females. So in that case, we say if gender is equal to, let's use the triple equal to. So if gender is equal to male, like this, then we want to say console.log we say welcome our male species, like this. Then else, that is if gender is not male, then we say console.log welcome our female species. So we can do something like this. Okay, I forgot to put an equal to there, so we have to assign the value. So we need the assignment operator. So we have welcome our male species. So let's do something else. So let's print a message that says you are a man. Okay, even though to conclude if you're a man, we need to check with the age as well, but that's fine. So this will say you are a woman. So let's check if this person is a man or a woman. It says you are a man. Okay, great. So if we change this to female, it says you are a woman. So what we are getting on the screen is based on this value, this gender. So in your program, this may not be hard coded the way we did here. So this may be coming from an input that is provided by the user. So the user will have to type into an input to provide this value. So this is just to test what we are doing. So that's why we hard coded this, and we said gender is equals to female in our case. So we say if gender is equal to male, then you should say you are a man, and if it's female, you should say you are a woman. Okay. So that's the if else statement. So next we have the if else if statement, but we're going to be treating this in our next video. I don't want this video to be too long, so let's treat this in our next video. So see you in our next video.